There are so many roller coasters out there, almost 6,000 to be exact, and I've ridden 68 of them. And once in a while, I will ride a new coaster and just wonder why people don't talk about it more. So that's why in this video, I will be talking about 5 underrated roller coasters that I have ridden. In no order, let's get right into it. For our first roller coaster, we will have to go to Kennywood in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. And the coaster I'm talking about is Phantom's Revenge. And I know this coaster does get a lot of hype, and many people have it in their top 25, but I have it as my favorite coaster in Pennsylvania and my overall number 2 coaster. The airtime is so insane you literally feel like you're going to fly out and die, because the lap bar, or pool noodle, leaves you with so much room, and honestly, if this roller coaster had more restrictive restraints, it just wouldn't be the same. It would still be a really amazing roller coaster, but the restraints really make the ride. And I don't understand how other people don't feel the same way. I see some people who put coasters like Fahrenheit at Hershey Park or Steel Curtain at the same park above it. And I just can't understand that at all. It's a world-class roller coaster, and it feels like you're riding on a cloud, but at the same time is a very intense and aggressive experience. For our next coaster, we will be going to my home park, Six Flags Darien Lake, in Darien Center, New York. And we'll be talking about Predator. Even though I said this isn't a ranking, I will tell you that this is easily the most underrated coaster I've ever been on. When's the last time you heard anyone say anything good about Predator but station weight? If you don't believe me, insert people hating on Predator.
It's just ungodly rough.
I still think it'd be a pretty good candidate for an RMC.
One of the most miserable coaster experiences I've ever had. It was impossibly rough.
I just don't get it. Maybe they rode on a wheel seat or before the Titan track. But how can you look past a coaster that is really smooth as long as you ride in the front row and has a lot of ejector airtime in almost every hill? And some really have good laterals too. There are 4 Ridden Corporation wooden coasters left, and judging by the POVs, I think Predator easily looks to be the best of them. And one note is that if you're going to Darien Lake anytime soon, make sure you wait for the very front, not the second row, but the very front. Any other row can be kind of rattly, and the back is a place that I don't even dare to ride in. But as long as you ride in the front, you will have an amazing ride experience, which is airtime packed and really smooth with a unique layout. The next coaster is at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, and it is Iron Dragon. And at first glance, this just looks like a little family coaster that might even be kind of underwhelming, especially in this POV. It looks like it could valley at any second, but you can't get fooled by the POV. I won't go as far as saying that it's insane or anything like that, but it has a few really good elements. First, you have this drop. Even in the middle where I was sitting, you get sustained floater all the way down and you can't see the bottom because of the trees. Then, I grade out on this first turn, which I don't even know how is possible. Then, after some fun turns through the trees, you ascend the second lift hill, which the drop is really cool because it swings from one side to the other side and then back to the other side. Now this moment might not be quite as cool once I get around to riding Bat at Kings Island, but because this was my first ever suspended coaster I've ever ridden, and I heard it was going to be forceless and boring, it surprised me a lot. For another underrated coaster, we will travel to SeaWorld Orlando in Orlando, Florida for Icebreaker. Another roller coaster that is usually just called a family coaster. And this one, it just completely doesn't make any sense at all. The launches aren't that strong, but it has a beyond vertical spike. And don't underestimate this hop up into the top hat, because at full speed, this is easily top 5 strongest airtime moments I've ever experienced. And after the ejector airtime on the top hat, you go through 2 crazy back-to-back ejector airtime hills. And then some more airtime moments later, you've now hopped up into the brakes with your last strong ejector moment. Does that all sound like a family coaster? No, not at all. This is by far the most intense coaster at the park, and an amazing ride, just missing my top 10. And finally, for our last coaster of the video, we will be revisiting Cedar Point for Valraven, once the world's tallest dive coaster. But if you are an enthusiast or know about roller coaster enthusiasts, you know that usually we hate dive coasters because they are boring, forceless, and short. But I don't think that at all. The drop feels like it lasts forever with all the floater airtime, and the valley completely crushes you with all the positive Gs. And this is what I'd imagine I-305's first turn would feel like. It's that intense. Then the second drop gives even better floater airtime, and you can't forget about the final 0G roll that leaves you completely hanging. It would be cool if it had lap bars so you could feel the full hang time, but it's really a small complaint, so I don't mind. And I just can't imagine riding it and calling it forceless. So that brings us to the end of this list. If this video does well, then I will make a video of overrated roller coasters I've ridden. Comment down below what you think of the coasters I put on here, and some coasters that you find underrated. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video.